Good morning, good morning, good morning, and a happy Monday to all of you. How's it going? Indeed. If you guys have any requests for altcoins, commodities, stocks, now's the time. I'm setting up my charts right now. How's it going, Mark? Guys, Mark's been dumping on us. Oh, silver just hit 110. I think it did hit 110 earlier today. But this is why, guys, never ever try to call tops. Seriously, Nikhil, AVAX, you guys still trading that? Let's see, we'll take a look if we do have time. Give me something exciting, guys. There have been crypto coins that have been pumping, by the way. I'm going to show you guys a random coin that you guys probably haven't heard of, but was worth keeping an eye on. That's like been pumping for weeks now. Mark doesn't call tops. Mark creates tops. How's it going, Core? And indeed, hit the likes. Hit the likes. Gold money. Hey, how's it going, Roger? My man, that's sweet of you to say. I missed you too. I'm just setting up a few charts here, guys. In the meantime, if you guys could smash the likes, doing all of this impromptu. We're gonna begin in like 2 minutes. Alrighty, a quick voice check. Is the audio fine? Is the music too loud? Should I turn it down? I think we should likely turn down. We have some important things to talk about today. I don't want people distracted. That being said, there's a playlist I kind of want to listen to. How's this? How's this? Alrighty, I got your approval. And we are about to begin. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Sean Dixon, and I welcome you guys back to your Monday live stream. We got so many interesting things to talk about in the market today. I just could not skip this week's live stream. Bitcoin had a critical close that has us on the edge of our seats. We might be seeing something disastrous, or maybe not. Noticing something on the charts too that is definitely worth talking about. We have gold pumping. We have silver pumping. Krisha's targets were hit. Krisha's targets were actually smashed through. That $100 psychological target that everyone was dreading has been smashed through. This is why you never, ever, ever try to call tops. And more importantly, you do not try to short into simple psychological retail resistance levels. By all means, take profits there. But trying to be a smartass will have you rolled over. And you know what? I'm going to start off on a rant this live stream. What's been ticking me off the most has been seeing crypto natives get so salty about watching silver and gold run while crypto has not. Like, why can't we just be happy for other people making money? Like, what? Why does it? Why? Like, are we just that kind of market cohort where we just don't like seeing people make money? We don't like seeing, like, the XRP people will not like seeing other altcoiners make money. The other altcoiners will not like seeing XRP people make money. Why are we like that? Why can't we all just be happy, right? All that should matter is people making money, and no one is ever better off with other people being in a bad situation. So wishing for things to crash just to teach people a market lesson is just dumb. Okay, I want this to keep going. I'm not part of this move at all, by the way, but I want you guys to keep making a lot of money. I'm going to root for you guys. Honestly, why in the world would you want to come in front of this? Why in the world would you want to short this? Right? Be part of it, man. Make money. I think the dashboard too. Let's go ahead and pull up silver right over here. SLV, silver ETF, long across all time frames. We have no business trying to fucking get in the way of this. The rules do not allow us to. The chart is saying, no, you're going to get a green dildo where you don't want it. No. Speaking of which, though, on the flip side, gold too. We'll come back to gold. Bitcoin. Okay, this is the kind of chart that you don't want to step in front of in regards to trying to call a bottom. Here you're seeing red across all the freaking time frames. On silver, you are seeing green across all the time frames. Why are we doing the opposite? Why are we trying to short silver and call a bottom over here? No. It's not mango. Do the exact opposite, guys. Just follow the colors. That's all you got to do. Follow the colors. With that, we can begin. It's not all bad news for crypto, though. But that being said, I do want to start off with something that is really important to talk about. I'm going to readjust my tabs. I did want to start off with the weekly close on Bitcoin. I'll let you guys decide. What do you guys want me to start off with? The important weekly close that we just had, or do you guys want me to start off with the signal I showed you guys around 10 days ago? Okay, the one signal that has never failed on Bitcoin. Okay, has never ever failed. Now, the reason I want to start off with it today is because the last time I showed it to you guys and the viewership dropped because it was something no one wanted to see, right? But that's the reason why I'm going to push it down your throats to begin with this live stream, because you guys need to see what you guys don't want to see, right? I'm not here to give you guys the news you guys want to hear. I'm here to give you guys the news that you should be hearing, okay? So again, though, there is another bright side to all of it that we can talk about towards the middle of the stream. But I want you guys to let me know. Do you guys want to start off with the weekly or the big signal? I'm going to pull up the chat. I can't even see the chat. Where's the chat? Right over here. Pop the chat out. There we go. How's it going, Krisha? Krisha says, yes, we love our mango winners. Indeed, we do. Core says, exactly, Sean. Love to see people make a great trade always. And honestly, congratulations to Vishal. I think he captured a multi-million-dollar trade. Good for you, man. Proud of how the seedlings freaking killing it. I'm not sure if Vishal is in here today. Julian, how's it going? Good to see you in here. Ivan Tech says, you gotta respect the pump. Even when it's the other assets. Assets are assets. Aren't we all here to make money at the end of the day? And the mission statement for the silver and gold holders is the same mission statement that Bitcoiners have, right? To protect against debasement, to protect against... I don't know much about silver, guys. I don't know anything about silver, to be honest. Forget much. Me saying I don't know much about silver is actually an understatement. I don't know anything. I just know it's silver. I just know I have silver. This is pure silver, but I just like it. I just like the color. That's all. I know nothing else about it. That being said, I think we're all on the same team here. Yeah. Okay, so Gonzo says weekly. Buddy says he wants to start off with the signal. Bad truths are better than soft lies. Okay, you know what? I'll quickly gloss over what's going on the weekly, okay? So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to turn on the mango ribbon, turn off all of this. So, guys, by the way, those of you who... why is it showing me my moving average? Those of you who don't have access to the mango ribbon, you guys can get access to it for free by simply filling in this form over here. You just have to put in your trading view ID. We made this recently to make it simpler for us and streamline the entire process. What is the mango ribbon? The mango ribbon is simply a convenience indicator that will give you the ability to put on multiple indicators using just one indicator, right? Because TradingView has a limit for all of you who are on the free TradingView plan. They'll say, oh, you can't have more than 2 indicators or something like that, right? So what this allows you to do is put on a bunch of EMAs, put on a bunch of MAs, and more importantly, it gives you the Ichimoku settings that Mango uses as default, right? So we have our settings set for something that works better for crypto on our Ichimoku. So you'll get the Mango settings for Ichimoku embedded in there as well. So it comes with EMAs, MAs, and the Ichimoku. Now, over here, I have the Ichimoku on the weekly, right? And in last week's daily video where I talked about how we are going to be exiting our long trade on the short to mid time frames, we put on a long trade hoping for a bigger move. I said that, okay, we got to exit now on break even we had a slight profit to break even. We had that gift of an opportunity to exit very, very, very cleanly. But I was hoping that even after that, Bitcoin would at the very least hold a weekly level, which was basically the top of the cloud over here. I'm going to mark it out for you guys. Okay, right here, the top of the cloud. Okay, so around $92,000. I want Bitcoin to close above that. Bitcoin actually went and did the complete opposite. Not only did it disappoint by not closing above the 92,000, it ultra disappointed by coming in and closing inside the weekly cloud. This is not a good look at all. Okay, not a good look at all, because what this does is two things actually. With this weekly close, we have lost the bottom of the range, right? Through a weekly candle closing basis, we have closed underneath it. Really, really bad. But that we can kind of let slide, because I've said this for years now. The weekly can be extremely trappy, especially with these kind of closes. When you kind of just close a tad bit, often, like I would say with a high probability, it ends up being a trap on both sides, bullish and bearish, right? I called it out all the way back in, we had it in the previous cycle over here, right? I wanted Bitcoin to continue, of course, but I was like, I'm not liking this price action those weekly at all. I've been punished in the past by trusting weekly candles. The big one over here that I was able to call out was during the 2019 pump. You can see that we closed ever so slightly above, and it just wasn't convincing. And boom, right? It was a bull trap. Now, similarly, the bear side works too, where you get the slight close underneath, and then it ends up being a bear trap. The other situation was a bull trap. Here we have a bear trap, and the market rallies to the upside. If, however, it was a clean close, like big deep close, you have to take that seriously. Over here, you can let it slide. You can say, okay, you know what? I'm not convinced, because the weeklies on Bitcoin do tend to be very trappy. That being said, this weekly candle also penetrated the cloud. We closed into the cloud. So this wasn't just us putting in a close underneath the range, which we kind of did over here too, right? You guys can see that over here, we closed underneath the range. That wasn't enough to get bearish and look for continuation. Even though we did see a slight continuation, the weekly closed really, really well out. This, by the way, guys, is the definition of a trap, right? You can see clean close, leading everyone to think, oh man, bear flag breakdown. We should be going all the way down here to 55,000. That's not what happened. It ended up being a clean bear trap. Lured in all the bears, they put on their short positions, and boom, got them trapped, right? Here, however, This is not the same situation at all. You cannot look at this and say it's the same as this. Because we penetrate the cloud, you have to take that seriously. Now, with this close in mind, your eyes automatically have to be looking towards the bottom of the cloud until we close back over the cloud. And the cloud, guys, every week that passes by is going higher. So the bar for the bulls is being set higher, right? You guys can see that this resistance level now is dynamically drifting higher and higher and higher every week. So the bulls at the moment need to close above 90,500. Come like 2 weeks, a few months rather, not 2 weeks, of 2 months, few months, the bulls are going to need to close above 100,000 to escape the cloud. So there's a lot of work to be done here. Are we all understanding what I'm trying to say here? Until Bitcoin on the weekly basis can close above the top of the green cloud, our eyes have to be looking towards the bottom of the cloud. It's as simple as that. You may not like it, but it will keep you in a defensive state at the very least, okay? For those of you who are looking to buy long-term Bitcoin or put on your long-term positions, there is no long-term positioning over here, in my opinion. Ultra long, yeah. Like if you're looking like through a cyclical basis, you're like, I'm going to be buying for the next cycle and the next. Yeah, you're probably going to find value around here. However, if you're looking to buy on the weekly and the bi-weekly, you don't have permission, in my opinion. You don't have permission because this can come down lower. Ironically, there's more of a thesis to be putting on short-term trades, quick leverage trades to the upside where you can get in and get out versus putting on mid-time frame trades or long-term trades over here. You have to step back. You have to, at the very least, if you have a DCA strategy, reduce your DCAing, right? Because you're likely going to have the ability to buy far more when we come down to the bottom of the cloud, or you increase your DCA back again when we reclaim the levels. But for now, you have to be defensive, guys. You must be defensive. Putting on leverage trades for the quick bounce and then getting out is completely fine. But as long as we're living like this, you cannot, okay? And I'm going to update you guys further on this with a more detailed breakdown, and we will be sending out a newsletter as well. So make sure to, again, you can find the link to the newsletter in the description, or you can go on over to themangoway.com/mangojuice, and you will get access to the Mango Ribbon and the newsletter. So keep an eye out for that as well. Krisha sent out a newsletter in regards to silver too, I believe, right, just this morning. So we will be far more reactive via the newsletters and on Twitter as well. Okay. Now, I want to move on to the big signal that has never, ever failed on Bitcoin. Okay, ever. And this is a bearish signal. Okay, this is a bear market signal. What we are looking at over here, again, is the Ichimoku. It is our bread and butter for the bear markets as well as the bull markets for that matter. It's how I started trading. I really recommend all of you guys learn the Ichimoku. It's a free indicator. Anyone can use it. It's a dynamic trend and support and resistance indicator. And if you learn the Ichimoku, it forces you to learn different concepts within the whole technical analysis space. So very, very powerful. That being said, let's go ahead and talk about what we're looking at over here. We're looking at the 3-day time frame. And you guys can see that the cloud has now flipped red on the Ichimoku. What's important to keep in mind, what's important to note is that the cloud is forward placed. Okay, it is forward looking. So when you're looking at the cloud over here, remember this when I go through the entire history now. It is placed 30 days ahead, or rather not 30 days, 30 bars, right? So because we're looking at the 3-day time frame, we've got 3 multiplied by 30, we're looking at 90 days ahead, right? So just as an example, the cloud over here has flipped red, and according to the chart, is somewhere around March to April, right? So cloud has just flipped red. If you go back historically, you will see that every time the cloud has flipped red, we have triggered a bear market. Now, that doesn't mean that Bitcoin immediately dumps, but it does mean that Bitcoin goes through a prolonged bear market every time the cloud has flipped red. And I've gone ahead and marked it out for you guys over here every single time. So we're going to go through every one of these cases one by one. So right over here, this was in the 2022-2023 bear market, where Bitcoin's 3-day cloud flipped red somewhere around Jan, right? You can see you go 90 days back, and yes, we did have a rally. So Bitcoin rallied into the cloud, and then we had a long bear market. Okay, so it happened in 2022. Now, right over here, 2019, I'm going to zoom in. Same story, right? The cloud flipped red somewhere around here. This was before COVID actually hit. So in a way, this was predicting, I don't say predicting, it was forecasting. It gave us the signal that things are not looking good, the markets are not looking good, and if they do find a reason to sell, they will be glad to sell, okay? And the market flipped red, or rather the 3-day cloud flipped red over here. We rallied and then had a huge dump. Okay, now you guys can say, hey Sean, COVID, blah, blah, couldn't have forecasted that, blah, blah, blah. If you guys were trading with me back over here, you guys would know how we use TA without knowing anything about how disastrous COVID would be. We were able to use TA and our indicators to get out of the way before the big dump happened. That's all we did. We just got out of the way. That freed up capital, freed up mindset, freed up our ability to take some really, really nice longs over here. Even though I was bearish, by the way. I only flipped bullish back when we had the 4-day closes somewhere around this region. 7,300 to 8,200 was when I flipped bullish. And that's, again, guys, as a side, a really important note. And you guys who were with me during this phase will remember this. I was bearish, but putting on leverage long trades, right? That's a really important distinction to make. I won't take any long-term trades or mid-time frame trades when I'm bearish, but if I see an opportunity where we're sitting on support and there's a really, really good opportunity to put on some long trades where we get these bounces, I will take them, but I won't hold on to them, right? I was actually looking for this back then, right? I was looking for this. I was wrong, but I flipped when I was wrong. I got bullish again. And that's the difference between someone who specializes in only wanting to be a forecaster who's right all the time versus someone who specializes in wanting to make money. And I ask you guys, what do you want? Do you guys want to make money or do you guys want to be right? I'd rather make money, okay? So I was expecting this. We flipped once we got this, and glad we did, right? Because that was from 8,000 to freaking 60,000. Who wants to miss that move? Anyways, sticking to the topic, cloud flip red, we rallied and we got the big dump. This was 2019. Let's go back to 2018 now. Same story, cloud flip red over here. You can measure from somewhere around, you could either go from here to here, or you could even go from here to here, right? Market whichever way you want to. Somewhere around this region, the cloud flip red wasn't looking good. Got a dump, got a rally, and then a big bear market, right? So immediate short dump, got a rally, big bear market. So we're seeing a kind of pattern here where you may see a rally after the cloud flips red, but a bear market is sure to follow unless we do claim the cloud. Now, we're going to go back one more time, and we're going to go to April 2014. Okay, so we've done so far, we've seen 2022, cloud flips red, rally, dump. 2019, cloud flips red, rally, dump. 2018, cloud flips red, small dump, rally, and then big dump, right? Again, right over here, 2014, cloud flips red, small dump, rally, big dump. Now, one more time, we can go back to 2013. Cloud flips red over here. This time we don't get the rally, we just see an immediate dump, right? So if you zoom out and you look at the pattern, every time in the history of Bitcoin, when the cloud has flipped red on the 3-day time frame, we have seen a rally of some sort and then a big long bear market. Okay, am I saying that's definitely going to happen this time around? No, not the past doesn't tell us for sure what's going to happen in the future, but the signal is there, a high probability signal. And things that do have a high probability, if unwound, and if the low probability situation plays out, for example, if I say, hey, there's a 95% probability that Bitcoin is going to go into a bear market based on what I'm seeing right now, that means there's a 5% probability that Bitcoin doesn't see a bear market, right? Out of which 2.5% might be we go sideways, and another 2.5% might be we bottom up over here and we go into a bull market, right? So 95% we go into a bear market, 2.5% we go sideways, and 2.5% we just go into a bull market. I'm making up these numbers. I'm trying to explain something to you guys over here. Okay, what I'm trying to say is 95% bear, 2.5% bull, right? If this situation does play out, there's a probability. You can't say it is impossible. It's possible, okay? If this situation does play out, the market isn't priced for that, right? The market isn't priced for a 2.5% probability of an event happening. So when you do get the payout of a 2.5% win, the payout is huge, right? So if the payout is huge, what does that mean? It means that you, even if your biases are telling you, okay, your bias is telling you, it's Bitcoin, man, I just can't be bearish. Don't be bearish, but reduce your position size drastically, because your 2.5% probability will give you a huge win regardless, right? Now, these aren't the probabilities for what I'm showing you over here. The probabilities might be 65% and 35%, or could be 70-30. It could be, you guys got to figure that out for yourselves, okay? We're going to go through a bunch of indicators over the next weeks, and we're going to come down to a conclusion. But this is how you guys need to think. Okay, if you're struggling to get bearish on XRP or Bitcoin or Cardano or whatever it might be, and the charts are all giving you the probability, the high probability, you can fight that urge by at the very least reducing size. What's the date the red cloud starts? It's already begun, man. The cloud has flipped red. Oh, you're talking about on the chart. On the chart, it's March. It's Krisha's birthday, of course. March 23rd. Sean, do you think we are on the traditional 4-year cycle or super cycle on Bitcoin? This is how I want to answer that question. I'd rather you guys disregard both views completely. Disregard the 4-year cycle, the 4-year Bitcoin cycle, because it has caught people off guard on the bullish side. Last time around, everyone was looking for the 4-year cycle, but they got so hell-bent on what Bitcoin has done in the past that they completely missed the fact that the TA was screaming at us that we're likely going to be seeing an all-time high before the halving. Everyone's like, because the 4-year cycle has nothing, or rather, I don't say nothing. The 4-year cycle is not hinged only on the halving, right? And that's what people got wrong, because they got so obsessed with the halving, setting the 4-year cycle, bullish and bearish. They were like, nope, there's no way we're going to see a all-time high before we actually see the halving, right? So because of that, nobody positioned well enough before the halving. Everyone's like, we got time. We're just going to wait for the halving, right? And I got so much hate for calling for an all-time high before the halving. Do you guys remember that? Again, all I was doing was, I'm not trying to say, guys, I'm a genius forecaster or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm just playing the TA regardless of whether I end up being wrong or not, right? I told you guys how I got the call wrong over here during COVID. I got bearish because the TA told me to. I just followed the TA. But the TA then told me to go bullish, and I caught the huge move. All I want to do is make money. The TA told me, ignore the halving narrative because we might see a huge rally to take us to all-time highs before the halving. Similarly, what I'm asking you guys to do now is ignore the super cycle thesis in regards to Bitcoin, ignore the 4-year cycle thesis in regard to Bitcoin. What I want you guys to do instead is play the cycle outside of Bitcoin. Play the market cycles, right? Every market has cycles. Human beings are cyclical. The universe is cyclical, right? You can't just eliminate a cycle, because now we're getting a tad bit too deep. We're going completely off topic over here, but I'm going to quickly explain this concept. Even if a trend is moving like this, it can be cyclical. What we assume is that a cycle means we have to go up and then down. No, a cycle can just put on cycles while continuing to go up, right? You know why? Because the can I redo this? The denominator might be manipulated to cause higher lows on a long-term basis. And again, I don't want to dive into all of this for this stream, but we can come back to this in the next stream. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. But this is where things might get better for Bitcoin, and I want to talk about that. Okay, so I want to establish something first before I get on to the good news. Not the best good news, but there's hope. There's hope, guys. There's hope. Okay. Firstly, the dashboard is red. We have made a lot of money just following the colors on the dashboard. On the way up from $18,000 all the way to $120,000. Okay. There's no reason to fade this. No reason to fade this at all. Okay. The market-wide trend is also red. You have nothing going for you right now. Okay. Nothing going for you other than putting on some short-term leverage trades to get in and get out. That's where you can put on your longs. But why would you want to do that unless you're seeing a clear setup, right? I identified a clear setup last week for you guys, or around 10 days ago was when I put on the first trade video. We saw the rally, but it did not continue to my targets, unfortunately. So we had to get out. Now, where do things get better? Oh, right. First, red on the dashboard, red on the 3-day cloud, and then the weekly has also closed into the weekly cloud. So we have some really bearish signals. Weekly, bad close, dashboard, red, and the cloud on the 3-day has flipped red too. And I've shown you guys now, we have always seen a bear market after that. So don't ignore this. Okay, don't ignore this. This is really important. That being said, we can now move on here. I'm going to quickly hide this. This is Bitcoin against gold. Okay. really, really good timing on the music too. This is Bitcoin against gold, and as we can see, the head and shoulders has played out, but not in the way I would have liked for it to play out we talked about this head and shoulders like last year, and if it did break down, you're expecting a move down, a rally into the neckline, and then dump into our measured move. The measured move, guys, this is the good news, has officially been hit, right? So we did have a target for somewhere around this zone. And for those of you guys wondering how do I get this target, very, very simple. Just measure the length of the head, and then you go ahead and place it on the breakdown point right over there, and you guys can see that we are pretty much at the target, right? But when you're looking at a measured move target for a pattern, that doesn't mean things end over there, right? Now, the good news is that it's lining up with a key support zone too on the Bitcoin versus gold chart. Let me just go ahead and draw that out for you guys. If I can just move this out of the way. Right over here, this entire zone was where Bitcoin put in the reverse formation, right? We had a sort of head and shoulders, inverted head and shoulders formation right over here, placed against that neckline and broke to the upside, causing this huge rally all the way up to like around 40 ounces of gold. So this is essentially telling you how many ounces of gold you could buy per Bitcoin, right? At the highs, you could buy around 40 ounces of gold per Bitcoin. Now, you can buy only 17 ounces of gold per Bitcoin. So that in itself is telling you that this move now has, if you're a value investor, right, what you are seeing over here is, hey, Bitcoin has become extremely, extremely affordable compared to Bitcoin. Sorry, compared to gold. Now, this lines up with something I was brainstorming with you guys and heavily with Krisha last year. I was like, what if, like I was saying this last year, what if we are in a bear market? What if this entire thing is one big bear market? Krisha was like, how could you say that? I'm like, well, if you look at Bitcoin against gold, it's trading like we are in a bear market. It doesn't look like that on the USD pairing because you're making new highs, but against gold, it does feel like we are in a bear market. And then when you take that idea and place it onto equities too, equities have also been in a bear market against gold, right? And you have your value investors, you have a lot of TradFi, hedge fund managers too, who have been calling for equities to be in a bear market, but have been constantly wrong. But what if they have just been measuring it against the wrong asset? Because if you measure it against gold, a lot of these things are in a bear market. So that would beg the question, what if the bear market has already played out against gold, right? Because the USD chart might be giving us the wrong picture, especially at this phase of the secular bull market where we have all currencies that are debasing against each other, right? So even though you might see US dollar strength, that doesn't mean anything if it's less weak compared to other assets, right? It's just less shittier than other assets. Is it fair to be using that as a denominator? If gold is the baseline, gold going up isn't really telling you that gold is going up in value. All it's telling you is that all other values of transmission are being devalued, right? So by that regard, Bitcoin, compared to the gold standard, the baseline has been in a bear market for this entire phase, right? Ever since here, you could measure it from December 2024, actually. So if you are trading it based on that 4-year cycle, we've been in a bear market for 406 days. 406 days. And we are lining up with a key zone of support over here on the chart. Now, all of this gets thrown out of the freaking window and doesn't matter at all if we see the support break, because in that case, I'll be looking for, at the very least, Bitcoin coming down to 11 ounces of gold per Bitcoin, which is going to be disastrous. But again, this is relative to gold. This could happen in many forms. We're just going to assume that this is all that matters to us right now, right? At the very least, for the next 5 years, we want Bitcoin to outperform gold. If gold is being looked at as the baseline across the globe, and that signal cannot be ignored, because look at the chart. Look at the chart. This is the world telling you that they want gold. And if you look at this chart over here, for the past 400 days now, they have wanted gold more than they wanted Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin coming down to 11. So this, though, is telling us that we might see some support here. I'm going to just remove all my drawings here, because we have technical support through a support and resistance perspective, but we also have our measured move being hit. At the very least, we should see a bounce here, right? The zone is really going to be important now. How does Bitcoin react over here? That being said, this may also bounce by gold dumping. We rather that not happen. We'd rather Bitcoin outperform gold while gold is also going up, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? Because at the end of the day, all you guys care about is your USD value, right? When you're looking at your portfolio, you're not looking at the amount of ounces of gold that you can buy. You're looking at the amount of dollars that you can buy, because the dollars are what puts a roof on top of your head and food on your plate, and allows you to spoil your kids, spoil your wife, spoil your husband, etc. So that's what we'd rather. We'd rather gold go up, and we'd want Bitcoin to go up against, where's my chart? Go up against the gold chart, because that would give us that much more of an impulse against the USD chart. Because if gold is going up against USD and Bitcoin is going up against gold, it means that Bitcoin is going up that much faster against USD. If we see that, that would be brilliant. Now, is there an argument for that at all, though, on the charts? Because I've shown you how the weekly looks bad against the cloud. I've shown you guys how the dashboard looks freaking disgusting. And I've shown you guys how the 3-day cloud has flipped red as well. There's only one or two pieces of hope at the moment, okay? We're going to start with the biweekly. Now, here we're looking at the biweekly on Bitcoin. You can see that while we lost the weekly range, we are closing the biweekly candle in 6 days. And the biweekly candle did hold the bottom of its range. And I trust this far more than the weekly. If we can begin to see some kind of base get set up over here over the next few bi-weekly candles, this means this is going to take a month at the very least, if not a few months. We might be putting a base over here where we might see an ascending triangle that could break to the upside and have Bitcoin go on another tear. That would line up with the fact that Bitcoin has been in a bear market against gold for the past 400 days, right? And we may see a brand new rally start. That would also line up with the fact that we have been seeing 6-month cycles. And if you guys do think about it, the last 6-month cycle was around September, right? Let's say would be somewhere around here. We were looking for the 6-month cycle to begin, but we don't try to call cycles in regards to an up cycle or down cycle. We just say that, hey, a 6-month cycle is about to begin. Let's look at the chart to see which direction that cycle wants to move in. If the cycle began somewhere around September to October, we would be going 180 days from that phase, and that would line up with, well, Krisha's birthday, right? 6-month duration. So March, first week to second week would be when the new cycle begins. But again, we don't know if that cycle is going to be an up cycle or a down cycle. It could very, very well be another down cycle. We don't want that to be the case, of course, but we got to be ready for that. And I already talked to you guys about the 3-day is calling for that. The weekly cloud is calling for that. The flip side is the bi-weekly holds this level. The flip side is that if I delete all of this and switch on over to the monthly and switch on over to the monthly dynamic, we are holding the monthly dynamic level, right? So this is not what you should hang your hat on and say, I am betting the farm on this, because we have lost the bi-weekly dynamic, guys. We're holding the monthly dynamic. We have broken into the weekly bearish range, but we're holding the bi-weekly support range. The 3-day cloud is saying the bear market has triggered, and that's all you have. That's all you have in regards to the bulls. The bears have the win right now. The bears have the win. The bulls have two things going for them. the biweekly range is holding, and the monthly dynamic is holding. Yes, I can go and dig through oscillators and find other things that matter, right? But I don't want to overcomplicate things for you guys. This is all you guys should be looking at right now. If we lose the biweekly dynamic as well, that's another big win for, the monthly dynamic as well. That's another big win for the bears, right? At that point, you'll be looking towards 75K, perhaps even $68,000. I do have a chart here with targets. I'm going to show you guys that chart so you guys can quickly take a screenshot. Give me a second. It's right over here and it's right over there. Right, yeah. I'm going to zoom out. Just quickly take a screenshot of this. It's on the monthly time frame. 68K to 58K is a potential zone of opportunity. If we do come down there, you guys want to be looking to put on some spot bids for long term. If we do lose that level though, yes, I know no one wants to hear this, but potentially 35K to 30K. I'm putting it out there, okay? The bears have a lot of work to do before we can actually see that, because the monthly dynamic needs to be lost, but note these levels down right now. That being said, let's flip things around. What do the bulls need to do to start making this picture look good? We have monthly dynamic support over here, right? If they continue to hold that, there is going to be a chance that we can flip this around, because if you look at this trend, if you're just a pure trend trader and you knew nothing about Bitcoin, okay, you knew nothing about Bitcoin, knew nothing about the 4-year cycle, the halving, blah, 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 and you're just coming here and you're like, I'm just going to buy higher lows on the monthly time frame. Wait a minute. This looks like a potential really, really good spot to be bidding a higher low. You put in a low here, bounced, put in a low here, bounce. Do we put in another low here and bounce? It's worth the trade. Let me try, right? Who knows? This might be it. We go on another tear, maybe $200,000. Just simple trend trading on the monthly time frame. So if that bid comes in from the market participants, we may see this get defended. The next step is going to be the biweekly dynamic being claimed by the bulls, right? That bid needs to come in, push price higher above the biweekly dynamic, but then I want to see a higher low structure get formed over here on the monthly time frame. Specifically, what I'd want to see after the biweekly dynamic gets claimed, I want to see the monthly. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I'm looking at. Let's turn off everything else. Give me a second. Yeah, keep your eye out only on the red 10 SMA. This red 10 SMA, simple moving average, has been a really good guide to keep you on the right side of the market on the monthly time frame. Okay. Every time we've lost it, we've had a prolonged bear market, or rather, I don't say prolonged because during COVID it was like choppy around it. Every time we've lost it, it's been a good guide to stay on the bear side, right? Just to be defensive. So what I want to avoid any chop is for us to claim the biweekly dynamic and then put in a high low above the monthly 10 SMA. So a close above the monthly 10 SMA, 2 closes preferably, and then a high low above the monthly 10 SMA, and then that high being taken out of the close that we had prior, right? So essentially a structure like I drew out over here. Let me draw it again for you guys. Damn it. Okay, so essentially like this, like this, like this. And I can delete this one over here, right? So something like this. That's when I'll be convinced that, okay, we're on our way to $200,000, okay? But the bulls need to prove that to me. The bulls need to claim the biweekly dynamic. The bulls need to put in a higher structure above the 10 SMA. If they can do this, if they can do both of these key criteria, then this 3-day bear signal is going to get unwound, right? It's going to be that probability on the lower side. Let's say you're putting a probability of 80% that we go into a bear market because of the 3-day. The 20% probability that does not play out is on the table, out of which 10% might be, hey, we go into a bull market from here, right? And the other 10% could be we go sideways, right? So if the 10% probability of us turning this into a bull market plays out, well, then in that case, it is going to be a violent move to the upside. Because at the moment, the market is priced for a bear market. If you're playing this purely through TA, the signals are mostly bearish. If you're playing this through that 4-year halving cycle, well, it's a 4-year. The 4 years have completed, right? So that's bearish too. So I think the only people who would look at this as a buy opportunity would be the folk who are looking at this through an on-chain perspective, the folk who are looking at this through a value perspective based on energy used to mine Bitcoin and the cost of Bitcoin. And then you have your power law folk, right? So there is a cohort that might look at this as an opportunity, by all means. Then you also have this opportunity right over here as a value perspective, where all that value that got caught into gold gets unwound into equities and Bitcoin, right? This is by far, I think, the least talked about. At least I think so. I don't know. You guys let me know. But I think this setup over here, where Bitcoin has been in a bear market for 400 days now already, in my opinion, makes the most sense, but it's the least talked about. Because everyone's disappointed. Why isn't Bitcoin performing, etc., etc.? Well, Bitcoin has been in a bear market, and maybe it's all done. But at the same time, it's not enough for us to get bullish over here. It's just not. And there's no reason for us to do that. We have to call a spade, and we have to be ready for opportunity elsewhere, or if it comes on the Bitcoin, lower, right? So you got to keep that capital ready for when it does come. Does it make sense? All right, XRP next. I do want to look at XRP on the dashboard. Show you guys XRP on the dashboard, and it's really, really important to keep an eye on the support level that's coming up and the resistance level that is overhead. This is what I don't like about XRP. Well, same story with Bitcoin, to be honest. Like, it's not like XRP is being an outlier, right? It's not like XRP is being overly bearish compared to the rest of the market. There's only a few coins that are being bullish, and we can talk about those as well. If you guys are interested, let me know in the chat right now. If you guys want to cover those altcoins that I have found that are strong, we can go over a couple of them. But XRP is not doing anything all that different. In fact, it has surprised me in regards to how well it has performed against key levels. I just don't like the fact that the trend is now red, just like Bitcoin, across all time frames. The support is all the way down at 54 cents on the dashboard. Resistance is overhead at $2.39. That's not all that far overpriced, right? Price sitting around $2 at the moment, $1.90 to be specific, and resistance according to the dashboard is 2.4, so $2.40. So going on the chart though, what I do like is XRP is holding the monthly dynamic. What I don't like is it has closed underneath its monthly support level at around 205ish. It is now being respected as well as resistance. The monthly tried to penetrate and close above it. Unfortunately, we have only 5 days to reclaim all of that price that we have lost. If we can do that, I'm going to like this picture way more, right? But for now, what XRP does need to do, imperative that XRP holds the monthly dynamic at $1.80 in 5 days. If we lose that, I think it's going to be a sign for what's going to come on Bitcoin as well. Okay, I got to wrap up the stream very, very soon, but I do have a few more charts to go through. I want to go through gold, I want to go through silver, I want to go through Tesla. I'm going to try to speed up now. Yeah, if XRP loses the monthly dynamic, I think it's a sign of what's to come on Bitcoin as well. So we got to keep an eye on this one. But it's holding a base over here on the daily too, so I'm going to keep it simple for you guys. Just watch the monthly dynamic. That's all you guys need to watch for now. Let's hope XRP holds it. If it does, we can revisit this in next week's live stream, which is going to be lining up with the monthly close. So perfect for that. Mark says, yeah, XRP chart telling me that $1.25 is likely this year. So $1.25 would be somewhere all the way. Yeah, basically revisit this wick over here. And a lot of charts have done that, by the way, guys. Like, I do want to show you guys hype, for example. Like, you would think that, oh, great pickup on hype. Let's go to Binance chart. USD. Why is Binance chart not showing? Clearly tired. Okay, let's go maxi. So this wick low over here at $22 tapped. There's a deeper wick on one of the Binance charts. Why am I not seeing it? Is it not trading spot on Binance? Interesting. Okay, so this wick over here on Binance, right there at $22.30. That pickup was really bullish, right? We got a really strong pickup on hype, and we got a rally, took out the highs over here too. I would expected this to put in a high low here and then continue after a pickup like this. But the fact that it has traded all the way back down and retested this low is ridiculous. I would not have betted on that happening after a pickup like this, right? But the market was clearly under stress after that event because a lot of altcoins have done this. I think Sui has done this as well. Everything has gone and tested that wick. XRP, on the other hand, hasn't done that yet, right? So watching how this plays out over here is going to be really interesting. Do we see a continuation, or do we put in a base over here, giving the rest of the market time to test their lows if they haven't done that yet? And then if hype does want to make its way to the upside, we can use this as a guide for what we can expect on XRP. Because if hype just goes sideways for the next couple of months, putting in a base over here, while XRP starts drifting down, we know that wick low is going to be something that we want to buy. Kusha says, imagine they delisted. I don't know. I think they're probably not holding hype as a spot token because it's a competitor. I don't know. I'm not trading hype, so I would have no idea. So it's something to keep an eye out on. Okay, now we can quickly go through the rest of the opportunities. Right here on the dashboard, gold looking fantastic. You want to stay long on this. The support region is coming at around 403. That would line up with around 4,100-ish on the spot chart. Here we are looking at gold on the spot chart, basically sitting at $5,000 now. So the dashboard is saying that support is coming in somewhere around here. Yeah, that does make sense. Okay, so going back onto the dashboard, resistance not available, of course, because we are in a blue sky breakout. So you don't want to trade against this. When you have resistance overhead that says NA, just let it ride. Long the 2-day, long the 4-day, long the weekly, long the monthly. Not much to say over here. I'd be looking towards this region as a potential bid opportunity. I don't think that that's going to be where we initially stop, though. Somewhere around 4,500 would be the initial stop if we do pull back, right? If we do see something like this, then probably a lower high, and then another leg down. I think this would just be likely a short-term to mid-term correction before continuation of the upside. I'm really bullish for the rest of the decade on gold. Of course, we're going to see pullbacks. The pullbacks could be deep. I don't see this coming all the way back down to 3,500. Highly doubt that. But if that does happen, that's going to be a massive value opportunity for anyone who did miss out on the gold rally. But I don't know. I don't think so. The big surprise could be a huge liquidity move down over here. This I see happening. Again, a huge value buy, somewhere around 3,900-ish. But if you're looking to put on a high probability trade in regards to a quick pickup by the market, look out for this level over here on the dashboard at around 403 on the GLD chart. So look at GLD to get an idea of where you want to pick up your spot price, man. This is looking so bullish. Pre-market sitting at 466 now. So that would be somewhere around 360 according to the dashboard. Right. That should get defended. I don't see it coming down over here. Okay, moving on now to silver. We've covered silver in a video today. Kusha's covered silver. She had a target of 107. A lot of people thought she was crazy when she called it. It hit that target today and it smashed through that target actually. So silver looking fantastic. The ETF is sitting at 92. Let's go look at SLV. I've not been trading. I've missed the entire gold rally. I've missed the entire silver rally. So I'm not as in tune with the chart as I would be with something that I'm actually trading. But I'm going to give you guys my thoughts regardless. I shall silver trust, man. Like how can you? How do you have the balls to short this? I don't understand the crypto folk who want to call the top on this. Why would you want to do that? Like why? Doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, this is likely going to keep going. Not much to say here in regards to silver, and we are running out of time. I urge you guys to watch Krisha's video, and if you guys, she did send out a summary on her thoughts on silver too. If you guys want to make sure that you guys are receiving those emails, check out the Mango Juice newsletter. It gives you access to the Mango Ribbon as well at themangoway.com/mango juice. Tan asks a question, says, hey Sean, given the long price history, I think you should look at the metals on the monthly candle minimum instead. The weekly candles are too short. That's a good point. We can go back to gold. Oh man, I hate these lights, man. Let's go look at a clean chart. I mean, if you look at the monthly, man, this has literally been on a parabolic run for. It's just you're not gonna get much support all the way. It's all the way down at 2000. It's all the way down at 2000. It's not actionable, right? So if this actually does retrace all the way down there, it's going to be really painful for folks. So I don't think we see that kind of bear market on gold. Yeah, but I do see your point. But I just don't see it. I don't see gold retracing that bad. What do you think would be the price of BTC at the bottom of the bear market, and when about? I honestly don't like calling for tops or bottoms on any chart. I'll have my targets that I look for when the signals are given to me. For example, we did have targets for exactly $120,000 on Bitcoin all the way back when Bitcoin was sitting at $17,000 to $19,000, right? I showed you guys how we called for 120K back then. Still have all my notes and the daily videos from then. That being said, even though we hit $120,000, my rules don't allow me to say, hey, this is the top. I think that is it, even though, especially since I called it all the way back down at $17,000. Even though we called it at 120K, my rules don't allow me to act on it like it's a top, right? We will always look for price to go higher. We will always look for price to go bottom as a safety mechanism, right? That being said, my targets for Bitcoin, with that in mind, I showed it to you guys, right? I would say the first level that Bitcoin could get down to is around 68,000 to 58,000. We lose that, it could go down to 35 to 30K. That's how I look at things, level by level, in the direction of the trend. Bitcoin should hold 35 to 30,000. Losing 30,000 is going to be really, really bad. In my opinion, Bitcoin should hold 75,000 if we want a chance to reclaim this bull market, right? If you want a chance to say that gold, let's put it this way. if we want the thesis on Bitcoin against gold to play out, where Bitcoin has been in the bear market, it's done its bear market, and then we can see a bull market this year or maybe later this year, it needs to hold 75,000. Okay, if you lose 75,000, I'll be looking for 58 to 68. If you lose 58 to 68, I'll be looking for 30,000. If we lose 30,000, I'll be looking all the way down to 16,000. If we lose 16,000, I'll be looking all the way down to freaking 3,000. I'll take level by level. I'll never say it's done. I'll never say it's done unless I see a base forming. For example, at 17K, we saw the signs here, right? We saw the signs here to say, hey, it's beginning to play out. So we had a 3-step process where we're like, okay, if 19,000 gets claimed, 1 out of 3 is going to be activated. Then 21,000, and then it was around 24,000. I forget the exact levels, but we had a 3-step process to say, hey, that's it. We are in. We're fully in now. So one by one, we got in. We're never going to say for sure this is the bottom, right? Even if I do see the signs, it's going to be 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3 of my position, and then 3 out of 3 out of my position, right? If I'm wrong at this juncture and market dumps, I'm not fully in. I'll only have put in 1/3 of my position, and then I'm going to look for lower because I was wrong on this. I would have been looking for much, much lower. But because we saw the signs, we put in these rules. We'll get to that when we get to that. We're not there yet. Okay, Tesla. Now, this is something I want to talk about because we've been long Tesla since around $250 to $300 on average, and now sitting at 450. Dashboard's looking good. Daily is saying short, 2-day is saying short, but the 4-day, the weekly, and the monthly are all long, right? This is the kind of opportunity I really love because it's telling you that you're seeing a bull flag on the mid time frames while the longer time frames are still in trend. Look at the volatility on this one. Volatility is blue on the 4-day, and the weekly, I really, really like Tesla. This is a long-term position. Like we've been trading Tesla for a while now, or rather, I would say investing in Tesla because we're literally playing this on the monthly and the 3-month time frame, right? I really like it. I think this could make its way all the way up. This in like around 5 years, it's going to be a multi-$1,000 per share price. Kusha's here to pull the plug on me, so I'm going to go through this really, really quick. At the very least, right, the way we can look at this is the channel that this is trading within. Let me go ahead and draw it out for you guys on the weekly. And we can see this move to around 569 in the short term, but there's a equal chance of it making its way down to around 323, which would be a value buy, in my opinion, at around, this trend line over here. Keep in mind, though, that you'll be looking at the invalidation of this trend somewhere around here. If we lose 381, very, very likely that we come down to 324. This was the zone that we were heavily buying at, around 245-ish, right? So if it does come back all the way down here, it could. We don't know. That would be a really, really nice opportunity to buy. Really nice opportunity to buy. That being said, I really like Tesla. Keep an eye on the Mango dashboard for Tesla as well. Support coming in at 331. Resistance coming at 447. Let's go mark that out. 447 is right overhead. And support coming at 431. 331. That makes sense. So 331 would be... That lines up with the trend line, right? So that would be really nice, guys. If you guys see this level get tapped, that would be a really good opportunity to look for a move all the way back up to 600-ish maybe. I really think Tesla is going to hit multi-$1,000 in like 5 to 10 years. So I'm playing for that. I'm playing for the big trade on this one. So just a heads up to those of you who haven't been following along. What do I want to talk about next? I think that's it for now. I think we've covered a lot. Oh, by the way, I've been also looking for a way to deploy on-chain capital, crypto capital into stocks like Tesla, Nvidia, etc. If you guys are in the same position as me and hunting for a way to do that, I was going through a bunch of exchanges, and MEXC actually does allow you to put on positions on Tesla, as well as so this is how you do it. You go on to MEXC, go on to your futures, and what you want to do is click on TradFi right over here, right? And I was like, hey, what do you know? MEXC actually has you can trade gold and silver too over here, by the way. So there's Apple, there's gold, there's silver, there's Tesla, there's MSTR, there's Nvidia. Now, I've not put on positions on this yet. I don't know what the liquidity is on these order books, but it does look really, really good just by looking at it at the moment. But if you guys are interested, worth taking a look at it. At the very least, I think there's a deposit. If you use the link in the description below, you will get a deposit bonus, and you can use that deposit bonus to just test things out, right? Test the waters, put on some practice trades. That way, if you do lose money, the money is Mexi's money that is being lost. It's not your money, right? So put on a stop loss that essentially hits in a way that whatever money is lost, it's the deposit bonus that you do get from Mexi. I think they are running a promo that gives you an additional deposit bonus. Again, if you do, you have to use the link in the description below. Just do themangoway.com/Mexi, right? That's the best way to do it. Now, if you guys don't use the link, it's going to be difficult for us to go back retrospectively and add the deposit bonus. So please make sure you click the link, and it saves us a lot of work. But again, I haven't tried this out myself. I will be trying this out. Has Nvidia, has Intel as well, Alibaba, Google. Really, really interesting. Netflix too. Okay, so they have a bunch. So Mexi would be one. I think Hyperliquid is another. I haven't used Hyperliquid, however. So yeah. If you guys have any other questions, make sure you guys join our Discord at themangoway.com/Discord. I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Let me know what do you guys want covered for the next stream. Ciao. Love you guys all. Bye.